Welcome to the Hosel Rockets Podcast, the #1 golf podcast for new product launches, interviews with industry experts, golf trends, and more. Here are your hosts, Jen, Ken, and Bill.
Hey, welcome to Hosel Rockets. I'm Jen. You're not Ken. You're not Bill.
No.
Who are you?
I'm Clay.
You're Clay.
I am.
You are from our Golfing with Clay segment that we sometimes run on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for filling in for us this week.
Sure.
Let's say who you are.
I'm Clay.
Yes. Usually you're behind the camera.
I know, and I work in this office space, so.
You're one of my employees.
I am, yeah.
So we should actually delve into that.
What's it like working for you?
What's it like working for me, Clay?
It's a good time. I love being behind the camera, and this podcast is super fun. And then, yeah, as people have seen, or maybe if they've watched all the way through, but we've done some Golfing with Clay segments where I go out and just kind of like explain, or in a fun way, some of the common things that people experience on the course and how to avoid them if they want to, or how to do them if it's something that they should be doing. So
For new golfers,
typically new golfers, yeah. And then also like some jokes thrown in there, like hopefully good jokes, but for people that are more experienced and it's just stuff that they've dealt with in the past and that they could relate to.
So if you're just listening to us on podcasts, you should go check us out on our YouTube channel, on Morton Golf Sales YouTube channel, which is our sponsor, et cetera, which is our Golfing with Clay segment, which I don't know if we have its own channel, but we will by the time this episode airs.
We've had a couple of them, I think 2 that we've put up individually, and then they're definitely at the end of each podcast episode. So.
And since I've thrown you on to air this morning, which you weren't prepared or ready for, but my other co-hosts both bailed on me today. And so thanks, Clay, for... you didn't really volunteer. You were volunteered to
well, as
come
you
on
said,
the show.
you're my boss, so...
Exactly. So thanks for volunteering, Clay.
Yeah, I mean, I got to wear this cool shirt.
I know, you got a shirt out of it.
Yeah.
So, do you play golf?
I do now that I work here. I mean, I did when I was younger, and my grandpa was like a huge golfer and always brought me out to the range, but I hadn't played for probably 5 or 7 years, and then when I got back here, I broke out my clubs and dusted off all the spider webs and stuff, and have been coming out a little bit. So I wouldn't say I'm like a golfer, but I'm getting back into it. Yeah.
So we were talking this morning in the office about you having this fabulous video series idea of a wonderful series that you thought would be great for our viewers to watch, which was what? Beginning lesson series.
Yeah.
And what was the sole purpose of that?
For me to get lessons.
Free.
I'm looking for all the ways to get, I'm like, okay, golf clothes, how could I find a way to get like a partner or something so they can send me some, like sponsor clothes? And then with golf lessons, I'm like, it's my job. I'm in the marketing and video department. I'm like, it'd be cool to understand golf a little more. So I'm like, I got to find a way to get some lessons with these coaches. So I'm like, what if we did a video where it's like them training somebody from scratch and it's me
so he's
learning.
Like volunteering to be the the Golfing with Clay character could be the scratch golfer getting lessons from one of our golf pros. So.
In fact, I even tried to get a TrackMan fitting the other day because I was talking to one of the new golf pros and he's like, oh yeah, I want to do a TrackMan thing where we have people come out and like get fittings, and he's like, we could do a Golfing with Clay segment. I'm like, yeah,
that's a great idea.
I'll get a TrackMan fitting, absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's pretty
so
good.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good way for I've kind of positioned myself to get all this like cool little stuff, and hopefully it be valuable to people. At least that's the way I pitch it to you, so I can get it right.
I'm pretty easygoing on things like this.
Yeah.
So since you and Dakari, who is still behind the camera, since now we have poor Dakari, who's the only one who has to work today.
I know, I kind of left him with a bunch of cameras.
I know,
so, yeah.
Poor guy. We've been growing our YouTube channel and started our podcast. We are trying to grow our YouTube channel, and currently we're doing a giveaway. So I'm just going to mention that. What are we giving away? Do you know?
Giving away an Epic Flash driver, right? It's not an Epic Flash Star.
Right. It's
just a Epic Flash driver.
It's a Callaway Epic
Flash driver.
Epic driver.
Epic driver. Okay.
Yeah, Callaway Epic driver.
I'm very knowledgeable about golf.
We can tell. This is why it's so good to have you on our golf podcast today. Valued at over $500, What do you have to do to enter?
All you have to do is there's a video on our channel that basically is Jen.
Which is our channel.
Oh, I'm sorry. Our channel is Morton Golf Sales. And we have
On
a video,
YouTube.
a video of Jen talking about basically how to enter. So you'll see her, it's tagged on there if you haven't subscribed yet. You click to that video, and basically what you do is on that, you subscribe to the channel. So there's like a red subscribe button at the bottom right of the video. And then you leave a comment, that's just like, I'm really excited to win, or whatever you want to say.
Maybe you could actually act more excited than say what's right there.
Add an exclamation point or something like that.
When you leave your comment.
Yeah. And then when we get to 1,000 subscribers, which I think we're only like 140 away, and for reference, we've grown like 300 to 400 subscribers in the last like month and a half. So it's getting pretty close.
We're really close.
Yeah. And so gotta really do that, but that's pretty much all you do is you subscribe and then you leave a comment, and then if you want to be even more awesome, you can hit the notification bell to get notified about all our future videos, like Golfing with Clay, the podcast, and then we have like training videos and review videos and a bunch of cool stuff all in the world of golf. And yeah, so that's how you get entered to win a really cool driver.
And then legit, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're giving away that driver.
Yeah, and we did it with, beforehand to get to 500 subscribers, we did it with an SM7 wedge, so it's like, that's...
And now we're giving away better, cooler prizes.
Yep, and the bigger we get, as we've grown this way, we're giving away a cooler prize, and we'll maybe continue to do it in the future.
Sooner or later, we'll give away Clay.
Yeah. I'll be your personal assistant. For free.
I don't know if that has much value.
No, not at all.
Okay, so are we going to continue the Golfing with Clay segments in 2020?
Yeah, that's the goal. We've gotten some good response from people, primarily from people around the office as they watch the most of our content.
Does Reddit like Golfing with Clay?
Reddit does not like Golfing with Clay. Facebook does and Instagram does, but I posted one on Reddit because I was like, oh, I think this is funny, and there was people like requesting for the 2 minutes of their life back. So...
We don't like Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit hurt Golfing with Clay's feelings.
Oh, poor Clay.
But hopefully you guys like it, and we'd love to get ideas. We've had some people throw around some really good ideas for like good content for the Golfing with Clay ones. Like one of them was like 6 ways to hit a 1-inch putt, which I thought was really funny, and like because so many people, it's like they're so close and they still just like lip it out and so. I thought that would be a really fun one. So giving ideas is awesome, and then also just watching them giving feedback will help us make them more
Where are you
fun.
talking to? You see
I keep looking at the camera.
Yeah, you're not talking to me.
Because we're talking, and then you're like, tell the audience, and I'm like, hello, audience. So I keep going back and forth. But yeah, so I think that'll be it'll be a good time to do it in 2020, and I think the goal is about every other episode or about once a month, just depending on how much we have going on. So yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Are you enjoying, filming our podcast?
I am. I think it's really fun. If only people could see. I'd love to like release like a behind the scenes or something of all the craziness that goes on with between takes and stuff. It's really fun.
Okay, the stuff that as soon as we stop rolling that is said around here is ridiculous. And then it's like, why won't you say that on camera?
I know. We have to like tell everyone to be quiet now, so that way all the jokes are said while like the camera's actually rolling and the mic's on. Because we've had a couple where we got it on camera but the mic wasn't on, or vice versa. And so, but it's really fun. And there's a lot of times that Dakari and I are literally back there. Like I think when Bill said you didn't look good in orange, or he goes, really? That was what he did. But Dakari and I were back there trying so hard not to just laugh and like. So if you guys ever hear like just like scuffled, muffled voices, or like just like people trying not to laugh, that's Dakari and I in the background just dying and sweating, trying not to make noise.
Now I'm getting the complex. Do you also feel I don't look good in orange?
No. Yesterday you wore orange, and I was like, wow,
I specifically wore orange yesterday to like prove a point.
And then Bill wasn't on the podcast yesterday, and I was like, we missed out on an opportunity. But yeah, I did not agree with Bill, but I thought it was funny.
See, and I can't even trust what he's saying because now he's already exactly saying this like 48 times that I pay him.
You look great. No, yeah, it does. I mean, I didn't think it looked bad at all, and I thought it looked nice. But it was just funny how Bill, just the dynamic between you guys, especially because like Bill and Kenny are like such good friends. They've been friends forever, and they have all these awesome stories. And then, I mean, you also have obviously been in the group, considering you and Kenny have been dating since like birth. But pretty much, right? Similar to my wife and I, but similar stories. But so it's really interesting to watch the dynamic of you guys already being, like friends and having worked together for so long, and just kind of that coming out with the stories and the experiences, and just kind of like the banter between all the different relationships, I think is really cool to watch. and it's really fun. And you guys have like a really cool type of like joking relationship where it makes it funny and like comedic, but then also educational because of the depth of knowledge. So it's fun watching from the background. I wish I could say that I've learned a lot of good things because we've had like really knowledgeable people.
Okay, hold on.
No, wait.
Hold on. I wish I could say that I've learned a lot of good things on Hosel Rockets. However, I can't say that.
Let me rephrase.
No, go ahead.
I've been, videotaping coaches doing like lessons. We've had Tom on, who's like one of the most decorated like PGA pros, and like talked about all these different like, golf ball coverings, and I'm like, I still go out to the range and I can't hit it worth a damn. And I'm just like,
so
I've been watching all this.
It's giving you no practical
It's giving me,
tips whatsoever.
I can write really good blog posts. I learned like, when I said you try to put it in, you lip it out. I didn't know that term beforehand. So it's like I've gotten a lot of like actionable. I can hold up a conversation about golf. But I've realized it doesn't translate very well for me out on the course when I go out. So I can say that.
Well, that's like me, Clay. I've been in the golf business now for 30 years. I don't play golf, but I feel like I know a tremendous amount about golf without any actual like ability.
It's
for
the
golf.
Difference between reading a blog article and actually practicing it. And everyone goes out there and they watch the YouTube video about gripping the golf club or whatever, and then they go out and the ball's going that way, and they're like, the video doesn't work, and it's like, I think it might be the practice and stuff.
Might be
but
the person.
Yeah, so that's like, but otherwise it's been, as a whole, it's been super fun. I'm just waiting for all that knowledge that's been put up here to maybe one day translate to my hands in a golf club. We'll see. So
my goal as a boss for you this year is to get you a video series with Golfing with Clay where you get tips from an actual golf pro.
What it's like to get lessons from a golf pro.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That'll be a great way for me to hopefully, translate all that knowledge to something that maybe gets me not a 150 when I go out on the course or something, but
pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, will you stay with us for our Jack Bergeroni experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard we had a fun one today, so
we have something a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to introduce our guest today, and then in a few moments I'm going to have you back if you're willing.
Yeah, I think so.
Since he doesn't have much choice, since I'm his boss, and he's made that clear
well, I'm comfortable now. I'm on the couch.
You're
right?
on the couch.
So, yeah.
He's made it on the couch. Okay, so we'll take a quick break, and we'll have Patrick joining us, and he's going to be talking to us about grips. So you could probably...
I could use some of that.
And you could probably pretend that you actually get some practical knowledge out of that as well.
I can talk about grips now, but, don't know how to actually grip the club. So,
okay, so there you have it. All right, we'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm so excited to welcome this week's guest. I have Patrick Coughlin. He's the Director of Sales and Marketing for GT Golf Supplies. And today we are talking golf grips.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in and joining us today. The thing I love the most about your position is you aren't here talking about one specific brand. You are going to talk to us about all the brands.
Right. As a distributor, we're fortunate to not be strictly one brand.
So what brands are you repping?
Golf Pride, Super Stroke, Win, Lampkin, and a few odds and ends.
Okay, so just want to make that clear. We're going to be talking the entire gamut. We're just going to be diving in, talking about the importance of golf grips, which I think is super valuable because a lot of players really aren't paying as much attention to their grips as they should be.
Right. We found that over 50% of golfers don't regrip in a timely manner or at all.
Okay, so what do you consider a timely manner? What is that?
Every 40 to 50 rounds or so, equivalent to once a year if you play once a week.
Okay, so and I think that's a really good way to look at it. I know that we tend to send out an email to people once a year, just as a reminder, change your grips. Now's the time. Right. Is there a good indication on your grips as to just how you know now's the time to do it?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of times grips will start to get shiny. That shininess will make it feel slick. You can see obvious things like cracks and tears and things like that. It's a lot like the tires on your car.
Now, tell us about that, because that is such a great, indicator. I mean, tires on your car, grips on your clubs. How do those two compare?
Yeah, we like to say if the shaft is considered the engine of the club, which a lot of the golf tech
Yeah.
people say, the grip is definitely the tires. So if you have a 400 horsepower engine, you're not going to want the bottom line grip on your club. You're going to want something that lives up to the performance of the shaft and the club itself.
And really, with clubs these days costing $400 or $500, why would you, go 2, 3, 4 years, or in 50% of the cases forever, and not invest in changing out your grip? I mean, what an easy investment on your game, right?
It's an easy way to make those clubs feel new again.
And changing your grip has a true impact on your golf game itself, correct?
Correct. Yeah, your swing speed, your just the rotation of the club at impact is all related to the grip.
I mean, so when your grips are worn, what are some of the things that can do for you when you're trying to? I mean, you can grip the club
I think
harder.
It really
What's
starts
some of
with
the
just
stuff?
the confidence you have that club's not going to move any certain direction just because the grip's not up to par.
Okay.
So it's really a lot of personal preference, but to have that assuredness that it's not gonna be the grip that causes you to not hit a good shot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I know, I'm talking specifically here. We are filming out of Hagen Oaks, which up in our club repair department, I don't even know how many grips we have. I want to say
just
thousands.
That you have, but the amount that go through your shop is amazing.
So my next question is going to be, how does someone choose what kind of grip you should have? I mean, there seems like so many different...
That's right. That's probably the biggest challenge, and one of the obstacles to people not regripping is because the choices can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
So we're here to kind of make it simple and hopefully easy to choose your grip and give you some pointers on how to go in and narrow down your choices. Back to the reference to the tire. It's like nobody likes going to buy new tires. It costs a lot. It's a lot more than grips. Let's just get that out of the way. It's not as much as buying a set of tires, but it gives you that confidence and safety and other things that you know that you need for your car to perform at the right level, and you can relate that to golf grips as well.
Now, would you recommend that people have them installed professionally, or is that something you can do on your own? I'm going to ask that because I know that it's actually not terribly difficult too.
Right.
I mean, I've actually replaced grips myself. It's kind of fun, to be honest.
If you don't live close to a golf store that offers that service, or a lot of golf courses don't provide that service. And if you go back 20, 30 years ago, most club pros would offer that service, and it's kind of gone the other direction now, unfortunately. And I think that's a big part of that 50% of people that don't regrip. It's because the place that they go often, or that they only go to play golf and they don't shop retail, is it doesn't offer that service. So it's really, how am I going to do it? And to your point, it is relatively simple if you have the correct tools to do it at home. And there's grip kits available, which if you have a vise, you can put this rubber padding in to protect the shaft and stabilize the club, take off the old grip, get some double-sided tape, and we don't recommend gasoline or some things that are in the past, but there's some solvent that you can put on to activate the tape, and it goes on pretty easy, and takes about 12 hours to dry. So the next day you're out playing and enjoying a new feel on your clubs.
That's super cool. And I know getting an entire set of 8 grips redone, I guess it's more than 8, but really you can go get lunch, you can go get a long cup of coffee and get it done.
Especially here, they get them done very quickly most times. So grab a burger or go work on your putting if you're just doing your irons, and they could be ready within an hour or so.
Exactly, which is super cool. So let's go into how do you decide what kind of grip you should go with?
The first thing I tell people is forget about how the grip looks.
Okay.
Everybody wants to have red or this or that, but really you should start with the size. So I've got a little guide here. This explains some of the grip texture and firmness, but it also has a ruler of sorts.
Now, can you find this online as well?
You can. This is something you could print out online if you have access to a printer. You go to golfpride.com and they have access to that. Or you can really just use a ruler and then go by, even if you can't print it out. So, for instance, for you, I would put the base of your palm at the bottom of the card there.
So just like that?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And we're going to see where your middle finger lines up, which is just about a 7.
Okay.
And that's 7 inches.
All right.
So something I learned not that long ago, even though I've been in the business a while now, is you always see a female golfer and you're like, ladies grips. Ladies, you use the ladies grips. Well, 7 here tells us that you're right in the standard size, which is most people think of as a men's size. But
I'm tall. I'm 5'9", so.
Yeah, you shouldn't always go just because the grip says ladies that's the right one for you. So anyway, we look at, okay, there's standard size, so then we can narrow down, remove the undersize, remove the mid-size, which is the next size up from standard, remove the jumbo, which is the biggest one, and see how those feel in your hands. So I've got a couple samples here of what a standard size grip would be. So this is a standard size grip, and
so the one I have in my hand right now, if you're just listening to us, is a lambkin.
Correct. It's a lambkin. It's a wrap style, but again, we're more focused on the size rather than, we'll get into the texture and the feel, but just make sure that feels comfortable in your hands. A lot of times we look for, if you just remove this hand and show me this, where you want just the middle or ring finger to barely touch the chubby part of your palm.
Okay, so right about like that?
Yeah, so that looks really good to me in terms of a fit.
Okay.
However, some people, older people and people that have worked in certain industries will have arthritis in their hands, and it's harder for them to grasp down on a grip or a lot of things. So for those people, it might be best to use, this is a jumbo or an oversized grip, so you can feel the difference between just the diameter of those grips. And again, you're almost touching but not quite. So it's a very small difference, but it makes a large impact in the way that you swing the club.
So people who have arthritis might want to go with this jumbo size grip regardless of the size of their hand.
Yeah, so we look at the size, but then we look at just how comfortable is it in your hand. So we saw a lot of the jumbo grips because of people that have arthritis and they can't grip down quite as tightly as
and I was just reading, I mean, the average age of a golfer these days is 54 years old, so I would imagine that you sell quite a few of the jumbo, or you should maybe sell quite a few of the jumbo size grips based on that alone. Yeah,
and actually an interesting fact, just in the evolution of humans, like in the last 20 or 30 years, the standard size is almost becoming too small because humans are getting bigger, their hands are bigger, their feet are bigger. So we actually sell nearly as many mid-sizes as we do standard, whereas 20 years ago it was probably 80% standard and 20% mid-size or jumbo. So it's been a big change in the size, the most preferred size of grips.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So after we find the right size for you or for the person, then we get into the feel. So do you like a tacky feel? Do you like a soft feel? Do you like a firm feel? Do you like a real coarse feel? So if you were to tell me what you think that feels like in your hands, because everyone's going to have their own personal preference, but I'm just going to give you those 4 options. So tacky, soft, firm, or coarse.
I probably would like something that felt a little tacky, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, so this is in the soft category. So if we're going to look at something that's more tacky, I would say probably something like this. And tacky, for people that don't know the terminology, is like a sticky type feel.
Yeah. So like I would say I do like the feel of something like this.
Okay. And that's a Win branded grip. That's their dry tack model. Very, very popular. That's a polyurethane material, which is a little different than, say, this Golf Pride grip, which is predominantly a rubber compound.
Okay.
So this is a little bit softer, but also has the tackiness. The main complaint that we get with the Win grip is that it does wear out.
Yeah, I was going to say this feels like it would probably wear out.
But it's also just a function of, if something's softer, it tends to wear quicker than something that's firm.
Now, if you talk to my husband, he would say, of course, I would pick a grip that would wear out faster and would need to be replaced more often, because that tends to be the type of stuff that I choose.
But again, it's all about what makes you feel most confident in your swing. And
I'd want the thing that felt the best. And
and there's other, in terms of texture, so when I talk about...
I do really like, by the way, if you're listening to this wind dry tack grip actually feels really nice. I do like this a lot.
Yeah, it's got some really nice colorways. That's the black and blue. It also comes in a dark gray and a black and several colors. So in terms of firm, that's about as firm as you can get. This is the Golf Pride Z cord, which you'll see a lot of tour players use. So it's a cord material infused into the rubber. So a person like me that can get a little sweaty palms, or if you play in moist conditions, the cord will help give you a better grasp on the club, whereas when this wind grip gets wet, it can become quite slick.
Is this a newer grip for you guys as well, this design? Or
the Z-Cord came out probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
This specific model actually has the Align technology, which I brought a little display that kind of shows that.
And what is this?
Essentially, it's a reminder or a rib in the grip.
Which you can feel, I mean, you can absolutely, it's just this subtle little feeling on the back of this grip. Which
back 10, 20 years ago, reminders were fairly common. Actually, believe it or not, almost 30% of tour players play a reminder style grip, which was a bit surprising to me when we first started looking at this information. But anyway, reminders were usually on the inside of the grip. It was built into the structure of the grip. This, they've actually added it to the outside, so you certainly see that it's a reminder, and it's a little more pronounced. So the idea is almost like the threads on a baseball or a football that you can grab onto and feel something, not only in your palms but also in your fingers. And I like to relate it when you get to the top of your swing. You can almost tell if the Align portion is straight, it's a good likelihood that your club head is straight. And then when you return back to the impact position, if that Align is in the correct position, your club face. So like if I turn it this way, the club face is open. If I turn it to the left, the club face is closed. But if I have it in that straight on position, the club face should be square. That's
very interesting. And so this new Align technology, which isn't necessarily that new, if it's been out for 3 or 4 years, has that been a really
It has. It's reinvigorated the reminder category, because for a few years there was virtually no reminder grips out on the market. You could do certain things when you install the grip to make the grip sort of a reminder, but this has certainly brought the technology back to the forefront.
That's super cool.
Something old that's new again.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we go into putter grips?
Yeah, putter grips is a fun category because it's evolved a lot over the last 10 years or so. And this is the company that really kind of opened the door to different...
I was going to say, Super Stroke is just, it seems like these massive, oversized putter grips have, it feels like, revolutionized the putter grip market.
It has. And although the majority of tour players still use a traditional rubber style grip, like that comes on a lot of the Scotty Cameron putters, or Ping, for example, like Tiger still uses the old Ping style putter grip. But for what I'd like to call the core golfer or the average golfer that can get a little handsy or wristy in their stroke, the oversized grip really helps you keep your shoulders straight and eliminates a lot of the wristiness in your stroke.
Oh, that's interesting. So I love that you're talking about this. So, I mean, even the putter grip itself is a game improvement.
Right. It can make a big difference in like your lag putting or your short putting. Some grips are better suited for inside of 10 feet, like reducing that wristiness and really getting you locked into those 3, 4, 5 footers. Now when you get into lag putting, the bigger the grip, you kind of start to lose some of the feel. So there's a bit of a happy medium, and Super Stroke comes in 3 or 4 different sizes, from a 1.0, which is the skinniest version, then you go up to a 2, a 3, and then a 5, which is their biggest style grip.
So so is it the bigger you get on that, the less of the
the less wrist movement you're gonna have.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that is interesting. I never knew that. So I have a 1.0 in my hand.
There's a company that came out just a couple years ago called Flat Cat, which some people might have seen Justin Rose and a few other tour players using. And this gives you the option to use what they call the claw style grip. That's how Justin Rose grips the putter. But you can put it like this, you can put it like that. It's almost like a pencil shape, which is kind of interesting. But again, it's all what feels best to you and your unique putting stroke.
So let me ask you this, because everyone knows, if you've watched this program at all, that I don't play a lot of golf. Do you put it on the putter a certain way, or would you put it on?
It's really up to you. I mean, it's meant to. You have some guidelines here. So this is the intended way for it to go on. Actually, Justin Rose puts it on.
Okay,
like
so you could put it on however you want, even though.
But again, the idea was firming up or squaring up those shoulders. For my wife, who plays just a little bit of golf, and her putting stroke was a little wild, I put on one of these because, again, sort of like the Align, if you rotate the putter grip this way, the face is open. If you rotate it this way, the face is closed. So if you focus on keeping this grip perfectly straight, if you will, the putter face should react accordingly.
Very, very cool. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and you might not be able to answer it. I heard coming down the line that there are some new putting grip displays coming out in 2020.
You're right. Yes. It's not quite public knowledge yet, but it's very innovative, and I can tell you that it'll give the consumer the ability to take a putter, which happens to be a TaylorMade Spider putter, so a very current putter, and it's got a shaft that has a magnet in the center of it, and you can remove the grip and try up to 8 or 10 different styles of putter grips on that putter. Take it out to the putting green, roll a few so that you know that you like it before you buy it. And one of the challenges has been when you're in a shop looking at putter grips and you're not quite sure. These are on shafts for those that are listening, but to not be able to roll a putt with it is a challenge. So that solves that.
I think that's such a cool and innovative.
It was one of those things like, how come someone hasn't thought of this sooner?
I know, I'm loving that.
Yeah, and there's also going to be some really cool call to action pieces in 2020, meaning Lampkin, for example, will be offering a free grip to anybody that goes onto their website and takes a little kind of fitting course like what we sort of went through here.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to bring in their phone or something printed out and say, I'd like to try this grip. And hopefully they like it and want to come back and do more grips down the road. So.
Now, are there any other tips that you have for people that might be having challenges with their clubs?
One thing I'd mention is if you take good care of the grips, just like you would your clubs, and by care I mean wiping them down occasionally or taking a toothbrush with a little soap and water, the oils from our hands and also the dirt from the golf course is what starts to deteriorate the compounds of the grip. So if you rinse them or wash them occasionally, you'll get a lot more life out of them.
Should you do that after every round?
I don't know about every round. You'll see on tour where the guys have part of their towel is wet and the caddy will kind of shimmy it before the shot. That's, to me, the best way to maintain the feel of the grip.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that we should be looking forward to in 2020?
Golf Pride will have some interesting or exciting products that they haven't quite released yet, but I can tell you they'll be centered around athletics or sports teams and the colors of a lot of teams that people cheer for. This grip, which is called their CP2 grip, this is one of the best-selling grips that they've made in the last 5 years. There'll be a new version of this or a line extension to that I think people will really gravitate towards. This is a brand new one from Wynn. So this is that dry tack model. And something we didn't quite touch on, but we should. A big trend in grips over the last 5 years has been this reduced taper. So this grip from Golf Pride is called a +4. And essentially what that is an extra 4 or equivalent to 4 extra wraps of grip tape underneath the bottom hand. So traditionally grips go from wide to skinny towards the bottom. Reduced taper means that it doesn't get as skinny towards the bottom.
And what are the benefits of that?
So if back to the size, if the grip's too small, you'll tend to roll your hands over and hit a lot of shots left.
Okay.
If you get too strong with your right hand, you can also start to hit the ball left. So what this does is it reduces that ability to turn your hands over. So you should, in theory, have less shots going left.
Okay.
And also, people, I think, like me that grew up playing baseball, it just feels a little bit more like a baseball bat grip, and something that maybe is more familiar to people. So anyway, I mentioned that because Wynn's new dry tack for 2020 is reduced taper, which is brand new for them.
Oh,
and
interesting.
I think a lot of people will like that.
Very cool. Now, to me, it sounds like you can get fit online.
Yes.
Would you recommend that you come in and get fit either in a club repair center or?
If you have the ability to, yes, because
Okay.
those people have a ton of experience and they know body types and hand types and can really kind of guide you towards the right fit.
And when you get fit for new clubs, grip is something that you absolutely do get fit for,
They've
correct?
started that over the last few years and a lot of companies are offering a free upgrade for not only shafts but grips as well.
Because
So
realistically, it's the only part of you that's touching that touches the club, right?
I meant to say that because that's a big thing that we push is this is your only real physical contact with the club.
So having the right grip, having grips that you're replacing, I was going to say frequently. You don't need to necessarily replace them frequently, but you need to replace them as they get worn because like you said, they're like tires. You just have to be sure that you're playing with the right tread. Don't let them wear out in order to save strokes. I mean, it literally will save you strokes on the course, correct?
It will. And someone like a Tiger Woods regrips his clubs every 2 weeks. So just to give you an idea of,
Wow.
I'm not saying you have to go do that, but that's how important it is to those caliber of players to have the right grip.
That's amazing. Patrick, thank you so much for coming
Thank
in
you. It's been
today and
fun.
educating our audience. We look forward to seeing all the new grip options that are coming out in 2020, and I'm loving the teasers for this new
There's going to be some good stuff.
for the new, especially the new putter opportunity, fitting that's coming out too soon. So thanks again. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
And stay tuned for a word from our sponsor, Morton Golf Sales. And with that, we'll be back in a moment. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, Bill here. I wanted to pause real quick to thank our sponsor, MortonGolfSales.com. Morton Golf Sales is the #1 online retailer for all your golfing needs. From the newest clubs on the market to the classics that you can't find anywhere else, Morton Golf Sales has the best products and customer service at the lowest possible prices. Want to check out their huge online inventory of clubs, clothing, golf balls, accessories, and save 12% on your first order? Just use coupon code ROCKETS at checkout on MortonGolfSales.com. Exclusions apply. See site for details. Now, back to the show. Mom's Beef Hash has a first name. It's from a Can We See.
But we all have another name. We call it untasty.
We hate to eat it every day.
And if you ask us why, we'll say, 'cause Mama's hash tastes like trash and we should feed it to the dog. Welcome to the Jack Burgeroni Experience.
What's the most overrated movie? This is going to be a two-parter.
Most overrated. Okay, well, this one's gonna be very controversial, but I rewatched. So recently, I rewatched all the Star Wars movies. Okay,
Okay.
because the new one's coming out, right? Or actually came out, right?
By the time
As
this airs,
as the time
yeah.
this comes out. So I rewatched them all, and some of the acting in the old, like the original Star Wars
Oh
movies.
my gosh. Seriously, you guys are going to get on me for Caddyshack, and he is calling out
I
the
just wanna say-
original Star Wars movies.
What is it? So it's A New Hope, and then you have
The Empire?
The Empire Strikes Back, and then the last one is, I don't know the name of the last one.
Now I'm off.
Anyway, the
With
last one.
Ewoks.
Yeah, the last one, when Luke tells Leia that he's her brother, that interaction to me is like so cringy. And so I would just say, and then like the lightsaber fights, like they literally, like the amount of times that Luke, and the amount of time actually spent showing like Luke fighting Darth Vader is like so little. And like, yeah, so I would say that like not all of the three, but like the third of them, which I don't even know the name, so I guess I'm not even a good authority to talk on this, I think is like, everyone's like, it's the best thing ever, and I'm like, it's
like
okay.
That one. That one's my favorite.
It's good, but I'm not like, this is incredible. So
Wow.
yeah, that's just me.
So for me, everyone's gonna know Caddyshack. It stinks.
Yeah, I love Star Wars. I just think that they're not as
No.
amazing as everyone like.
What's the most underrated movie?
I just said underrated.
No, we were talking overrated.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. What's yours? Because I have to think on this.
I don't know. Underrated.
I have one.
Okay, go
I'll let
for
you
it.
think.
No.
The Good Dinosaur by Disney.
Oh.
It's like this, like no real talking, like very little talking, and it's this dinosaur and this kid like kind of figuring themselves out because the dinosaur gets lost and blah. But everyone was like, it didn't get any attention. Everyone's like, Moana, Frozen. And I'm like, this movie is really good and like heartwarming. So that's mine.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I can go with Treasure Planet is another one from Disney that I thought was actually a really good movie that it's sort of dead on the vine. I know that they were originally thinking of turning what's now that Finding Nemo ride at Disneyland into a Treasure Planet ride, but then the fact that no one liked the movie, they didn't end up doing anything.
Got vetoed. That would be fun. Seems like it'd be more like exploratory or something. Yeah.
All right.
My turn.
I'm not
Excuse
sure
me.
that I'm going to say that is the most underrated movie of all
It's just the one you
time,
can think of.
but in the 10 seconds that I had to think of it, that's
I feel like as a video guy, I should have something more like creative, you know?
yeah.
Like, this director is blah, 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 but I
Yeah.
don't. I just have Good
The
Dinosaur.
fact that they did not win the
Yeah.
Academy Award for that
Yeah.
movie was,
Exactly.
yeah.
All right. You're the lamest superhero in history. What is your superpower?
Okay, you have to start this because you are the biggest Avengers geek on the
But
face
they're
of
all
the
pretty
planet.
cool superheroes.
Well, I'm not saying that.
I mean, I feel like if I was to consider myself a superhero...
What are you doing? You're not
Oh,
next
you're right.
up.
If I was to consider myself a superhero right now, I would say my lamest
We are not
superpower...
considering
But
you
so
a
here's the thing.
superhero right now.
Is the lamest superpower having no superpowers at all?
Okay, that you can't go. That is
So I can't...
such-
Okay. I have to come up with an actual superpower.
Okay, because that is the biggest.
Well, that is a lame superpower.
That is.
Okay, so I have to have a superpower.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have one? Off the top of your head?
What was the question?
The lamest superpower. If you're the lamest superhero, what power would you have? This is a hard one.
Mine would be the ability to fall asleep on command, which I'm sorry would also be the best superpower on the face.
I
of the
guess that's
planet.
true for you, because I know you like.
I have
you
a hard
have
time
trouble
falling asleep.
Hmm.
So, but man, that would be such a good superpower.
I would say like. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a superpower is anything you could do that like regular humans can't do, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Regular humans.
I could just regular humans. So can I just like say that I could shrink or grow my head on command or something? And like that's just super lame. Like nobody even, you know. So there you go.
Sometimes
Or
I
like
think
my
you have a pretty good head.
yeah, I can do
now,
it.
so-
I already can do it on command.
Okay, we're gonna do two more.
Okay.
I will do this one. You can do one more, and then I lost my timer, so I'm not sure where we are in this, but
I'll use the force to. Yeah, not working. All right.
because you have a lame superpower. This is gonna be good.
Oh boy, oh boy. All right.
Depending on how this episode goes, we'll see. If you could have chosen a different career, what would that be?
Is this like a serious thing or like? Okay, I would be. Well,
An Avenger.
yeah, that is like if I could have my dream career, it would 100% be to be like Liam Neeson or
Well, okay, that's not a dream career. That's
No, wait.
being a different person.
no, not to be him, but to be like Liam Neeson or why can't I remember his name right now?
That would be considered an actor.
Yeah, an actor, but like only actors who like have their niche is like action movies. Because I just feel like that'd be so cool. Because, like, imagine, like, being, like, the guy that plays Peter Parker, right? Spider-Man. Tom Holland. Or Robert Downey Jr. You look at yourself on a screen and you're flying and you're shooting webs. Imagine that. Like, wouldn't that be so cool?
That would be very cool.
So, like, I'd be an actor that only does, like, action movies.
Now, you are a bona fide actor.
Bona fide? I don't know about that.
Well, are you an action actor or are you a drug addict actor?
I'm a drug addict actor. Yeah, that worked well for me getting hired, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
For those of you who like just being
For
like, why
pretty
is this
much
guy
everyone.
a drug addict actor, right?
Outside of
Yeah,
your
I showed my
series.
boss. I played an extra in 13 Reasons Why, like the 3rd season or whichever one is currently out. And there's this one scene where they literally pulled me out of all these different, you know, like I'm acting like I'm really special. There was a bunch of extras, right? And they were just like, you guy over here, come over here. You're gonna fake snort coke. I'm like, what? So they give me powdered sugar and they're like, here. They give me a lesson because I've obviously never done this before.
Obviously.
And so they're like, you put it on your hand and da-da-da. And so then the scene of the show comes out and it shows me, like, as this guy's walking by, like, front and center, just, like, fake snorting coke. And I show my boss, Jen, and I'm like, look. So, yeah, I was very, like, hiding myself when I saw that. But, yeah.
Hiding himself. Hey, Jen,
Yeah.
come look at my
When I
acting-
saw it the first time, because I had a friend of mine like, is this you? And I was like, oh no. And then, yeah. Anyway, what's yours?
I would be a writer.
A writer? Like what type of writer?
A romance novel.
Oh, there you go. Like Jane the Virgin. Have you seen that show?
No.
Oh, she's like an aspiring romance writer.
I would not be an aspiring
You would
romance.
be a successful one?
Yeah, excuse me. If I get to choose my career, I would not be aspiring.
You'd be the one that has those books in like when I go to Rayleigh's and they're like in the book section and it's like the night on a boat.
I wouldn't be in the...
He swept me away on my feet.
I wouldn't be in the Rayleigh's bargain basement section
You'd be
either.
talking at your
I
award
would
ceremony.
be exactly. I'd be in the bestsellers list.
You must rip a lot of bills doing this. Like you get your...
No, that's why you look at the light.
But most
to
of my
see
bills...
where the paper
I just want to
is.
say though that most of my bills fit pretty exactly in the envelope. There's not a lot of space there. So, I don't know. Maybe you're an online bill
I am
payer.
an online bill payer.
Cool. All right, this is the last one.
Last one. Drum roll.
Add that in post.
I guess you don't like my drum roll.
Would you rather have a car that looks fast but isn't, or that doesn't look fast but is?
Okay, easy. It doesn't look fast, but is.
Really?
I don't care whatsoever about looks. But I very much care about going fast. I am a speed demon, 100% of the way.
But so my question to you is, okay, so a car can go fast, but there are still these things, I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're called speed limits.
I don't care about speed limits.
So your car can go 0 to 60 in, -1 seconds, but you still can only go so fast. So would you
That's
what
what you
would you
think.
do? Are you just gonna be Batman with your Batmobile just like flying around, rockets coming out the back, or are you just still gonna, comply with speed limits?
Mostly comply with speed
Okay.
limits.
So you have a car that looks kind of janky and can still go as fast as everyone else's, but secretly can go really fast if it wants to.
Yes.
There you go. Okay.
Yes.
I feel like if you got into drag racing, that'd be good. You could like fake people out,
I'm totally someone who would get into drag racing.
See, I'd rather have a car that looks fast but isn't, just because of my argument that there's not a lot of times I could use the speed. Unless I'm like in Germany and I go on the Autobahn all the time, which kind of sounds like that meal from that Mexican place you were talking about.
Okay, question I think all of us wants to know is how so?
Well, you said Autobada or whatever.
Adabada.
Yeah, Autobahn, same thing. Okay. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so I mean, if you were there, then I'd understand, because my family went there once, and we were in, my stepdad had a BMW, and
We still have a BMW.
he still has his BMW, yeah, but we were on the Autobahn, and this van, like minivan style, like, flies by us at like 110, and it was the funniest thing ever. So, in that case, I would understand using it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Cool. Well, I thought those were good questions. Super
Excellent.
golf related.
I'm glad you approved.
Yeah. After you did all the work of putting it into envelopes
Yeah.
and taught me how to actually
Open.
open an envelope. So.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show.
Sure.
I appreciate you not quitting when I asked you to be on the show.
Yeah.
I would like to give a shout out to Dakari, who had to do twice the work behind the camera today.
Yeah, he's been running around like making sure we got all the good angles.
I
So,
know.
yeah.
He's definitely had to step up today since you didn't.
Ouch.
And with that, I want to thank everyone for watching this episode of Hosel Rockets. I believe we have a special Golfing with Clay episode
Yep.
that we are going to end this with. So if you are watching us on our Morton Golf Sales YouTube channel,
Yep.
you can see Golfing with Clay in the flesh.
In the flesh, virtually.
Please be kind, because you'll hurt Clay's
Yeah,
feelings.
next time I'll be on here crying.
And if you're listening to us on any of the podcasts, because we're, I think, pretty much everywhere, we would like to thank you. And we will see you next week. And welcome to the new year, everyone. Bye.
Winter is coming.
And with that comes a time of year when so many people aren't able to play the sport that they love. Competitive synchronized swimming. Oh, well, and golf, of course. However, contrary to popular belief, winter golf can actually be really fun if done right. First off, you need to have the right gear. A couple of things that you definitely need to have are a rain jacket, rain pants, good gloves, and a good hat. Now that you're all nice and cozy, the next step is to do the same for your golf clubs. I mean, why wouldn't you protect your most valuable possessions and coddle them like they do Baby Yoda and his little egg? Isn't he just so dang cute? Some of the most important things you need for your gear are a waterproof bag, like this guy right here, and also an umbrella to protect your clubs and most importantly your grips, like this right here. So if you have an umbrella and a good waterproof bag to protect your belongings, you'll be set up for both your clubs, your grips, and yourself to have a good game out on the course. It's also a good idea to bring a drink that makes you feel nice and warm. I brought mine. Lastly, if you really want to take your winter golf game to the next level because you're an overachiever like me, at least according to my mom, then we have some really cool golf tech that you can add to your cart and bring around with you to really keep you warm. We got electric hand warmers, we got these big old heavy golf cart heaters, and these other things called lava buns. It's literally a thing you sit on that keeps you from freezing your off. And if you do all that, then you are ready to go out and play your best golf this winter. You go, you little rebel, taking on the elements to pursue your dreams.